Welcome back to the JBDC Virtual Biz Zone. We took a 1-month hiatus just to, regroup and so on, because as you know, we had been doing this since April of this year, non-stop for the months of April, May, June, July. And so we took a break in August just to regroup and come back again. And I am happy to have so many of you joining us this morning. My name is Sansia Campbell. I'm from the Corporate Communications Unit, and I'm your host for this morning. Now, in our last set of sessions, we went through quite a number of topics to assist our client group in just in engaging our client group and building their capacity. We talked about marketing essentials. We looked at the competitive edge in research. We look at managing business risk. We looked at queue management. We looked at design or like design DNA and all of that. And we're so happy to have you back with us this morning. Now, this morning we have a gentleman joining us. First of all, let me apologize because I know that we had sent out a previous communication to indicate that we would have another workshop that spoke to the SWOT analysis. Unfortunately, that speaker had an emergency, and so we had to allow him to take care of that emergency. But that presentation will be done on the 22nd of September. And of course, we will send out the notifications so that you are aware of when that one is coming up. Nevertheless, we have with us this morning Mr. Melarka Williams. And Mr. Melarka Williams is here to share with us something that may be very unique to our locale. We are going to be looking at growing your business using freelancing. And maybe some of you are used to it, maybe some of you are not. If you're familiar with Upwork and those websites from North America, you may know what it's about. But Mr. Williams is going to share with you all about growing your business using financing. So Mr. Williams is the founder and CEO of Ingenuity Technologies, and just recently, I mean like maybe 3 weeks, he started a platform, TheHive.com, and he's going to be telling us about it. So keep your ears tuned. As usual, we will take your questions at the end of the session. However, during the session, you can feel free to drop a question in the chat. And if I see where it is possible, I will ask Mr. Williams to just break and answer the question at that time. But largely, we will take questions at the end of the session. So go ahead, enjoy what we have to offer this morning, and it's over to you, Mr. Williams.
All right, thank you. So morning, everyone, afternoon, good night, wherever you are joining us from, wherever in the world you're actually joining us from. My name is, as Tansi had said, my name is Melarka Williams, founder and CEO at Ingenuity Technologies. And today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can grow your business using freelancing. Now, as small business owners, we're actually in a very difficult time. I would say some of the main challenges that small business owners are having are twofold. One, how can they actually control their costs month over month? When you have when you have permanent staff on your payroll, you have that monthly cost every single month, and that cost actually sits on your books. That's one challenge that businesses actually face. Now, if you engage with freelancers, what you'll find is that you'll actually be engaging with these freelancers or these agencies on an on-needs basis. So you're not going to have that monthly overhead cost. The other challenge I find that small businesses have is, how are they going to grow their revenue consistently? Now, this platform, if you're in the service business, what this platform actually allows you to do is it's a marketplace where you have an avalanche of opportunities right at your fingertips, right? And those avalanche of opportunities actually provides you the ability to have a more consistent source of income. The third challenge small businesses have is how can they find the right talent at the right time that's going to allow them to essentially scale their business. And this is what this platform is essentially about. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just go through a small presentation with you. I'm going to talk about TheHive. And once we're finished talking about TheHive, I'll essentially, give you a demo, show you a video that actually explains how the Hive actually works. And then you can ask your questions, and then essentially, ideally, after that, I want you guys to essentially go on and sign up on the platform. So the Hive essentially, let me start this presentation. All right, great. All right. So the Hive connects buyers and sellers of services. So it's a marketplace that essentially connects buyers and sellers of services, right? So if you're looking for a software developer, you're looking for a designer, you're looking for an accountant, an attorney, or you're looking for a salesperson or a marketer, or you actually provide these services, you can essentially post these services on the platform. You can post these projects on the platform, and these different freelancers and agencies can essentially bid on them. Now, yeah, so this is about the Hive. So there are connect businesses of all sizes with independent professionals and agencies in the Caribbean for all of their iron needs. So the vision behind this platform was to get the Caribbean exporting more. And what we want is we want persons from all over the world, persons from other parts of the Caribbean, persons from North America, South America, England, to essentially outsource these specific services on the Hive, and then the freelancers and the agencies will essentially bid on these specific projects. Now, what are some of the problems that companies told us that they were having while we decided to build the Hive? Essentially, companies are experiencing difficulties in finding proven temporary digital talents in a timely manner. Freelancers are experiencing difficulties in finding employment, therefore they are unable to provide for themselves and their family. And the third problem is it is challenging to know the performance history and track record for agencies, freelancers, and employers. Now, what is the solution to that platform? What is the solution to that problem? It's a digital platform which connects employers with freelancers to complete projects which they need to get done. A digital platform which provides performance ratings, critical statistics, and profiles for employers, freelancers, and agencies. So the big solution to this problem is one platform that's essentially connecting buyers and
sellers. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're not seeing your screen.
Oh, you're not seeing my screen?
No.
Oh, okay. Hold
on. Yes, we're good now.
You're seeing it now. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, you see it. Okay, all right. So the solution to that is one platform that essentially connects buyers and sellers of services. So, why freelancing? Why freelancing now? A couple of things is, the world has gone digital, and COVID-19 has actually accelerated the pace of, digital transformation. Because work from home orders and stay at home orders are in place now. Essentially, persons want to be able to conduct, their personal and their business life from home. So you want to work from home, right? Apart from working from home, you want to pay your bills from home. You want to pay your government taxes. You essentially want to be able to live your life by essentially staying at home, right? Now, companies are looking to reduce their costs, and therefore they're looking to engage temporary talent instead of permanent talent. What this platform actually does, it does all the heavy lifting for you. It essentially, on one single platform, it connects buyers and sellers of services, and you can essentially execute these services on the platform. Now, the freelancing market. Now, let's think about this. is this something that's done globally? Are there use cases on the freelancing market? Yes. So let's look at some key studies. The freelancing market in the US is bigger than the economies of Switzerland or Saudi Arabia. And this is according to the Freelancer Union. Now, I'll give you some stats. In the Caribbean, for example, 70% of persons who work in the Caribbean actually work in the services industry. So we're predominantly service-based in the Caribbean. Now, freelancer income in the US in 2019 was 1 trillion or 5% of GDP. And that's another study done by Freelancer Union. Freelancer income in the US contributes to the economy more than construction and transportation. So you can see that the freelancer market is a very active market. It's a very big market, and it's a big opportunity that we can actually use, we can capitalize on to grow our business. All right, so what makes TheHive unique? What makes TheHive unique as a platform? We're providing access to high quality talent in the Caribbean. So the vision is to have the best Caribbean talents on the platform. And then these best Caribbean talents on the platform, the world is essentially going to have access to this talent marketplace. We provide an opportunity for Caribbean freelancers and agencies to work on projects all over the world. So you're not just going to be able to work on projects in Jamaica. You're going to be able to work on projects in all the Caribbean islands. You're going to be able to work on projects in the US, Canada, and UK. Our talent pool is on the same time zone as the markets that we're targeting. You know, we're what you call nearshore. So at the same time zone, we have a very similar cultural affinity to the markets that we're actually targeting. TheHive is able to provide customized reporting to business, which is really critical. Now, the other thing is that we understand the pain points that a lot of small businesses face. We also understand the pain points that large businesses face. We work with a lot of small businesses through, you know, the DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica voucher program. We also work, and that's our small business unit. On the large enterprise side, we work with Fortune 500 companies. And through working with these two very different markets, one of the things that we saw was that businesses have a challenge in finding talent at the right time, right? And for the right cost. And this affects everything within the operation. It affects how much time it takes them to get their product to market. It essentially determines whether they stay in business or they go to business. As a matter of fact, you know, there's actually a study that says the third most popular reason why small businesses fail is not having the right team. That's how important it is for you to have the right team in place. All right, so what is in it for local organizations? What is in it for business? It will allow business to operate more efficiently and reduce their operational costs. This will essentially save them time and money because they won't have to incur the cost. They won't have to incur recruitment costs that's associated with engaging permanent talent. They'll have access to high quality talent. This is really important for growing small business. Now, the trick is that when it comes to high quality talent is very expensive. But you don't necessarily need these high quality talents sitting on your books, so to speak, month over month. The idea is that you can engage these high quality talent for a few hours per week on a project basis, and they're going to be able to execute and get things done. It will provide opportunities for employees who may have lost their job in COVID-19. This is a big one that we're actually seeing. We're reaching out to companies, we're talking to companies who are actually laying persons off, and we're saying, okay, you're laying these persons off, right? Here's what we're gonna do. You're making these people redundant. You know, partner with us, let these persons sign up on this platform so that these persons can continue to actually support themselves, right? Now, the other thing is that one big plus that's in it for local business is the fact that, you know, we're going to be able to essentially assist with driving foreign direct investment into Jamaica. And we're assisting in that because we're going to be able to provide critical data to like a jump that potential investors from abroad actually needs to decide if Jamaica is an economy that they want to invest in. Now, that's really important because, you know, normally when an international investor is looking at the market, they're looking at Jamaica, any Caribbean island, or anywhere in the world, a matter of fact. They want to understand the market from a labor perspective, right? Before they decide that they want to outsource here, before that they decide that they actually want to set up a company here. I'll give you an example. So if they need developers, they're going to, some critical information that they need that they're able to receive right now is that they're going to want to know, okay, how many developers in Jamaica? What specific skill sets do those developers have? How many years experience do these developers actually have? All of those data are data that this platform is going to be able to provide on the fly, right? So they can be rest assured that when they outsource here, when they send their jobs here, the talent pool is actually here that's going to be able to execute and get the job done. Really critical. Now, what's in it for international employers? We're near shore, that's the main thing. A lot of these international employers normally predominantly outsource to Asia or Eastern Europe. These countries are in a different time zone. They don't speak English as their first language. And the culture is totally different. Now, because the agencies and the freelancers are from the Caribbean, we're going to be on the same time zone. We have a very, very similar cultural affinity to these organizations. It's very easy for them to get here. The key markets, anywhere from 1 to 5 hours, and they can get to most of the islands in the Caribbean. So that's very important for them. It will allow them to adjust the organizational talent shortage. It allows them to scale easily and quickly. And the Caribbean talent adds diversity and innovation to our organization. Now, we know as Caribbean people that we're really creative, right? We can find, let's say that goes, we can find a solution to any problem, or we can crack any problem. That's really important when you want to actually drive innovation and transformation. Now, the features of the platform, you can actually log on to the platform. You can log on to the platform, you can sign up as a freelancer, an agency, or an employer, and you can essentially post all the jobs that you want to have posted, and then persons will essentially be able to bid on those jobs. We have global payments, so whether we need to pay, once the payments are made, payments can be done internationally to freelancers and agencies. There's no problem there. Wherever you are in the world, we can actually facilitate those payments. All right, so the other thing is that, so it's free for freelancers and agents to sign up to a certain point. What we do is that for you to actually bid on projects, we give you a certain amount of projects that you can actually bid on per month. And then once you actually go over that quota, you have to pay like a small monthly fee, about 10 US per month. Now, let's look at the employer packages. So there's actually your actual packages, right? That employers can actually sign up for. There is a basic package which is actually free. It allows you to post, essentially allows you to post projects. It allows you to collaborate with the freelancer, and it allows you to essentially track the status of the project. And essentially what you do is that you can run freelancers, and you also have access to the payment tools. The standard, that's free. The standard package, $75 per month, it includes all the benefits of the basic package. You get tier 1 reporting, so you have very, very critical reporting that will actually provide to you, that will aid you in engaging and making better decisions about what freelance or what specific agency you engage. The premium talent has all the benefits of the basic and the standard package. And in addition to that, you essentially get a team of advisors. And the team of advisors that we have onboarded us, those team of advisors will essentially assist you with selecting a specific freelance and a specific agency, right? That is best suited based on the project that you have to work on. The corporate or public sector package, that's a customized package. What we do is that's what we call staff augmentation. So what we do is that we provide organizations with a specific talent that they need to run their business. We handle the administration on the HR and the billing, and essentially these freelance talent, engineers, marketers, whatever it is, they essentially go into an organization and execute on a specific engagement. And this is a very popular package with large enterprises, not only in the Caribbean, but in different parts of the world. Very popular. So next steps, I'm gonna actually, before I actually take questions, right? I'm actually gonna show you what the platform actually looks like, right? All right, so this is essentially what the platform looks like. Very clean, very simple, and easy to use. If you are an employer and you want to hire a freelancer, you simply click hire a freelancer here. If you're a freelancer and agency and you want to create an account so that you can actually post projects, you essentially click apply as a freelancer here. And right down here, what it has is the different categories that we have: business services, data entry, engineering, graphic design and animation, program and development. These are different categories that we have on the site currently. How do you actually go about utilizing the site? You post a project, different freelancers and agencies bid on the project, you collaborate, and then once you actually collaborate and the project is completed, then payment is made to the freelancer and the agency. And I mean, down here, what it has, it essentially has the different packages: basic, standard, premium, and enterprise. So this is the platform. So you guys can actually log on. Feel free right now to actually log on and sign up. And what I'll do is that I'll actually open the floor for questions.
All right, thank you so much, Melarka. A very short, sweet presentation. You know, one of the things I like about this presentation is the opportunities that it presents. It doesn't confine you to an office or to any specific area. It doesn't confine you to a time zone or anything. It's just an opportunity that you can utilize at any point in time. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. Could you go ahead and type the web address in the chat so that all persons will be able to have access to it?
Yeah, sure. Sure, I can do that.
Are there any questions from anyone regarding the presentation that was just made? No questions at all? All right, so the web address is, I think you put an extra W, but it's TheHive freelancing.co. So I encourage persons to go on and take a look. Even if you are employed full-time, it doesn't stop you from being able to access the site and to get jobs from the site as well. We talk about multiple streams of income, and particularly in this pandemic, where the cost of everything is just skyrocketing. It's a great way for you to earn some extra money. Karen Henry has a question. Melarka, she's asking, how will payments be made to freelancers?
Great question. So payments can be made to freelancers via PayPal, or you can provide your bank account, and we can do a RTGS transfer, which is a local transfer. We can do an international wire transfer.
And that will be done through TheHive. Is it that TheHive gets paid and then the freelancers collect from you, or we collect directly from whoever contracts?
Yeah, so it will be done. Everything will be done through TheHive. So
okay.
so essentially what happens is that once you post a project, what the employer posts a project with a specific project, the Hive actually takes a cut, right?
Oh, that was my next question.
Yeah, so the Hive takes a 10% agency fee, and then there's a financial fee of 5%. So that's deducted from the project cost, and then the remaining money is actually sent via PayPal, or it's actually sent via wire transfer.
So 15% is what you take off the top, whatever the cost of the project.
In total, yeah.
Here. I don't even know if it's a question or a comment. Carlene Thomas is asking about the requirements to sign up apart from the startup fee. I'm sure that there was an option that you didn't have to pay a startup fee.
Yeah, man. So there's a sign up as a, is Carlene asking, sign up as a freelancer?
Yeah.
Is the question sign up as a freelancer or sign up as an employer?
All right, so Carlene, just clarify that for me, whether if it's as a freelancer or an employer. And then she's asking also, once signed up, do you have levels that allow freelancers to be ranked and get more pay?
All right, so essentially, so good question. Freelancers can actually be ranked. So there is a rating system, or what we call a 1 to 5 rating system. Like it can be rated as a 1, 2, 3, or essentially 4 or 5 star. So the employers themselves can essentially rank each of the freelancers or the agencies.
Okay. All right. I noticed that you typed about government ID and TRN. What has that got to do?
All right, so because essentially what that does is that it's know your customer, it's like KYC, because we're executing on a contract that's going to be between the freelancer and the agency, so that information is actually required, and it's also required for when we need to actually pay or make a wire transfer over to you.
Okay, so when you're signing up, you have to have those handy for, or rather scanned and...
Yeah.
Right. All right, fabulous. Anyone else has any other question? All right, as usual, the presentations that we do in the virtual biz zone, they're all recorded, and so persons have an opportunity to check out our YouTube channel after this. Just go on YouTube and subscribe to JBDC Jamaica, and you will be able to access this and all the other presentations that we had done in the first tranche of presentations that we did from April to July. This is like a record for us, Melarka. We have never had a session that finished at 10:30 ever. But I want to thank you for taking time to join us this morning and for sharing this very, very valuable information. Let me encourage as many persons as possible just to do a skill inventory. Check and see what it is that you can do that will get you to be able to access an additional income stream. And then once you have done that skill inventory, just take a look at TheHive.freelancing.co and see where you fit in. I see another question coming, so let me get that for you, Melarka. The pricing applies to both employers looking for freelancers and individuals wanting to become freelancers. I guess he's asking about the $75 and the $550.
Oh no, okay. So good question. All right. So that these prices are for these specific prices are for the employer.
Okay, so the individual signing up is free.
So for the freelancer signing up, it's free up to a certain point. It allows you to bid on 15 projects per month, right? And then if you want to go over that 15 project per month, you have to pay $10 per month, and that's from the freelance and the agency perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope that answers your question, Jermaine. Suzanne has her hand up. Suzanne, I'm going to unmute you. Suzanne, can you? Okay.
You guys are just, you're very impatient. Literally the second you move, you're asking me why I don't unmute, because you don't wait. Right. Good Morning.
Hi,
I'm
morning.
curious, Mr. Williams. Two questions.
Sure.
One is, how long have you, this looks like it's your platform you're presenting. How long has this been around and how many people are using this freelancing system? That's question one.
So we actually we launch a platform on the 21st of August. 21st of August. We have some key partners.
You mean 2020?
2020, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe
So you don't have anybody on it then?
So roughly we have 200 persons on it now.
200 freelancers?
Freelancers and employers in total.
But you should have them separate. So how many freelancers you have?
You know, I don't know the specific breakdown.
So what is the differentiation between your system and other systems?
Like give me an example of what other system you're referring to. I can tell you.
You are the one who has the business, sir. So if you don't have a question, if you can't answer my question, I can't help you. Every business should have a differentiating factor, in my opinion.
All right. So the question is broad. So for example, you could say, all right. So you can say, okay, what's the difference between the higher freelancing and a conventional employment agency? That could be one question that you're actually asking. Right? Or it could be...
No. In comparison to other online freelancing things, so they're all across the world.
Okay,
Is it that this is just for the Caribbean? I don't know if that was in the presentation, but I did not hear it.
It was indeed in the presentation, Suzanne. It was indeed. He did Caribbean platform, but we are able to access persons from outside of the Caribbean will be able to access.
No, but that's not the question. Is there no other? Listen to me. Is that a differentiator? There's no other freelance. I'm actually asking. Is that a differentiating factor? That's my question, you know.
Yeah, all right. So Susan, so one of the differentiating factors, so this platform is gonna have the best freelancers and agencies from the Caribbean, and companies from all over the world is gonna have access to the specific freelancers and on the agency. That's one thing. The second thing is that
sorry, hold on, Mr. Williams. How will it have the best freelancers? You started on August 21st.
Yeah.
How would you guarantee or attract the best freelancers? Sorry for my hard questions.
No. I love hard questions. It's no problem. All right. So we have a team of. We essentially have a team of. We have partners. We have sales representatives, business development officers that have actually been reaching out to some of the best freelancers and agencies in the Caribbean, and actually driving sign up for them on the platform. And a lot of them has actually signed up on the platform already. These are persons that have actually been freelancing for a while, or as sometimes as a term, they've actually been doing like a hustle. The challenge that we're actually solving for them is their income stream has actually been very unsteady. So by them coming on board, we are actually giving them access to more opportunities. So the other thing is that one of the key differentiators is the analytics that we can provide to businesses that they can actually use to drive their business. Now, for essentially the data that we are collecting, we're essentially mining that data for that specific business, right? And actually helping that specific business to make decisions that's going to drive their business. So for example, I'll give you an example. If you're an SME, for example, and you put a project on the platform, right? And the project was actually, you employ this specific freelancer and this specific agency to execute on a project, and the project was successful. We're going to be able to tell you all the characteristics about that specific freelancer, that specific agency, right? That made your specific project successful, right? Or if it's a case where it didn't work and you need to engage another freelancer agency down the line, which, okay, here are some of the characteristics that we saw where we think that this relationship never necessarily worked, right? So there's a saying that goes that data is actually the new oil. And what we're doing is that we're providing businesses with very key data that they
So
can.
let me interrupt you because I'm a bit. I haven't got to my second question yet, but the first question seems to be very layered. So let me just give an example. So I'm currently writing a book. So
Sure.
as part of writing a book, self-published or hybrid publishing, I'll be contracting my own graphic design editor, etc. Those are, you can hire them many ways, including Fiverr, etc. Let's say there actually are some of those persons on your platform. My question is, if I'm going to hire one graphic artist and one editor and one layout artist,
Yeah.
even if I do 3 books, I'm not sure, unless I am a large organization, how data analytics would help me. So please explain. To me, you're losing me unless I'm a large organization. I'm hiring a lot of freelancers.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, so if you,
I know what analytics is. So I'm
yeah.
kind of puzzled about what is the need for analytics.
Yeah. All right. So the need for analytics comes when you're running a lot of projects, right? So if you're running a lot of projects month over month, right, and you need to find out, okay, how is the best way for me to optimize my IN practices so that I actually get better results. Analytics is going to be a very key component to you. Now, one of the things I want to say is, like, one of the statistics I quoted Susan was global research, right? One of the third most popular reasons why self-employed, small to medium-sized businesses actually fail is because they don't have the right team in place. So believe me when I say having access to the right talent at the right time is on outside of, like, for example, market need, outside of access
could you give me an example? Give me an example of you're having several freelancers in the same category, and then the analytics would lead to better either efficiency or effectiveness of the business because of your analytics.
All right, so let's suppose you run a project. So you have a 3 month, or a 6 month engagement that you're running, right? Or a 3 months, so you're gonna be running a project over a 6 month time period, right? Month over month, right? So first 1 or 2 months, you say, all right, you know what? I employ this specific agency, and when you employ this specific agency, you realize that the project didn't work, right? Now, and then we look at that data now and say, all right, what are some of the things that didn't cause this project to specific work? Is it that it's a case whereby, the freelancer, the analytics will look at, okay, what specific industry does this freelancer or this agency have expertise working in, right? Because if you're a designer, for example, or you're a software engineer, the project that you can deliver on, if you have experience working within the financial services space versus if you don't have experience working in the financial services space, the expertise that you have within that vertical helps you to be successful, helps somebody to deliver your project, right, in a better way than if they don't have experience within that specific vertical, right? So we look at that data, right? Now, when we look at those specific data, what we do is that we could make a recommendation and say, based on what we're seeing, and being that that specific project was not successful, it is better for you to, for example, hire persons that are, based on the numbers, it would be better for you to hire specific agencies that actually has experience working within your vertical. Or maybe it's a case whereby they need to have 10 years experience working within your vertical. And if you don't have 10 years experience working in the financial service sector or these other factors, we would recommend that the data show that they're not actually going to be successful. No, so that's
you're gonna need a lot. You're gonna need a lot of data before you can make those generalizations. But okay, fair enough. Yeah. I'm gonna move on to my next question. Yeah. But that was a whole series of questions. So that was question 1 with A, B, C, D, E. So question 2. So question 2 now, very short. I noticed in the chat that you said that the freelancer must give TRN and ID. My question is why?
All right, so good question. Because there's going to be a contract. There's going to be a contract between the freelancer / agency and the employer. and it's a legal contract, right? And because it's a legal contract, we have to have KYC because know your customer. So let's suppose you have some proprietary product, right? That you want a freelancer to work on, right? We must know who is working on that specific product. And we must be able to identify them because let's suppose there's a problem and that person steals the idea and stealing that idea somewhere. We must know who that specific freelancer agency is. And the other thing is that because we have to pay, because there's actually a monetary transaction involved, we have to have these basic information.
All right, thank you very much, Melarka, for responding to those questions. Looking in the chat, I see a number of comments and questions. Someone is asking, as a follow-up to Suzanne's contribution, how is TheHive better than Fiverr, Upwork, and other freelancing sites in terms of giving freelancers greater access to markets overseas? I think this question was answered already. I would imagine most freelancers are interested in doing projects that can earn them US dollars. So to what extent can you give local and regional freelancers access to those markets?
All right, so I'm going to answer that question, right? Because now I'm going to answer that question by providing you with some specific statistics, right? The BPO industry, right? The conventional BPO industry is a US $800 million gorilla, right? Maybe that's about 0.4 or 0.5% of GDP, right? And that's in Jamaica alone. Now, those are companies that are in the US, then Canada, then UK, $800 million. That's pouring into this country as a last year. That they're employing companies in Jamaica to essentially run their operations. So I would say don't underestimate, right, the ability or the eagerness for international companies to actually outsource work here, even though there are opportunities, right? Even though there are opportunities for them to outsource to other markets, right? Because all of these companies that are outsourcing to Jamaica in the conventional BPO sector, they can outsource to Costa Rica, they can outsource to US, they can outsource to India. But because of our nearshore advantage, because we're on the same time zone, we speak the same language, we're very close to them, we're very talented, we're very innovative, these markets want to outsource to us. Through our parent company, Ingenuity, very frequently, companies from the US, companies from Canada, companies from the UK reach out to us and outsource work to us. And it's for the same nearshore advantage or skills and our expertise that I'd actually highlighted, that why they're actually looking to engage us. The other thing about it is that, like on Upwork, for example, it's extremely competitive.
Yes, that's true.
For you to get on. I mean, like the last tax I saw, Upwork says that they reject about 98% of persons who actually apply. I don't find that it's easy for us as Caribbean people to actually compete on Upwork. So
So go ahead and finish your.
Yeah, so this is essentially ours. It's our own marketplace, right? It's our own regional marketplace where we're actually telling the world and say, hey, look, here are our best freelancers and agencies in the Caribbean that you can actually have access to actually work with.
Melarka, I understand our nearshore advantage and our skills and expertise as well, but isn't there a school of thought that because our labor is also cheaper, that even when we are getting paid in US dollars, once it's, and you know, the strength in air quotes of our dollar to the US dollar still makes it a hell of a lot cheaper than if they had tried to do the same, get the same kind of job done within their own market.
Yeah, so that's also that's also a really big advantage. The cost savings. So the cost savings for these companies, can range from between 40 to 60% of what they would actually pay if they were actually trying to get the job done within the US or within their specific market.
Okay.
So the cost saving is one really big thing for them.
Right. All right. I see a hand up, Robert Smith. I am going to unmute you and ask you to go ahead and ask your question or make a comment. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hey, morning, Williams. So I just have a few follow-up questions, in particular to what Susan and Jermaine had said in terms of the nominal factor, the USD versus the JMD. Yeah. So as someone who is a freelancer and as someone who has hired freelancers, one of my main reasons was to be able to earn generate revenue in USD pretty much, or a different currency, or a currency with a higher value rate. So my question is, on the Hive platform, are contracts negotiated in JMD or USD? And if it's JMD, does the platform allow for USD transactions?
It's only USD.
It's only USD.
Yes,
okay.
Only USD, yeah.
And do freelancers have, I'm assuming probably just using an example here, with Upwork, an organization, a business, or an entrepreneur, they post a project, as you would say, and they post a suggested costing. Does the platform also allow for negotiating of that cost?
Yeah. That cost can, when the organization posts that specific budget, it can be negotiated.
Okay. And another question I have, and it's probably kind of broad and out there. One of the things that you have reinforced in your presentation is the platform being a place for quality talent from the Caribbean. Exactly how do you, how would you measure that? How would you quantify that per se? In the context of, I'm going to use Upwork again. Upwork has grown tremendously over the years, and we see an increasing number of persons going on. So pretty much my question is, how do you prevent the Hive from becoming an Upwork where the quality of talent or the quality talent that is available is hit or miss? It's questionable. You can either get good talent or you may not, just depending on the person, the freelancer that is registered. I'm hoping that that's clear.
All right, so we're not going to be able to totally prevent it. We're not going to be able to totally prevent not having the best talent on the platform. So the idea behind the platform, it's a marketplace, and like with every marketplace, like if you think about an Amazon, they're bad sellers on Amazon, right? And they're good sellers on Amazon. So we're not going to be totally be able to prevent not having the best talent on the platform. But what we do know is that there's actually a rating system, right? And that specific rating system allows employers to rate the specific freelancers and the agencies. And the thinking is that the employers themselves, they would actually do an evaluation to see how specific companies are rated before they actually assign a work to them. Now, for now, it's a basic rating. It's just a 5-star. But in version 2, the next series of upgrade that we actually have planned, we're going to break that rating system down in subcategories. For example, when we say we're going to allow employers to, for example, rate freelancers and agencies based on cost, based on time to complete the work, and also based on the customer service and customer service / communication. So we're going to break that down, right? So we're going to break that down into subcategories. We're looking at different things that's important to different people, right? And it empowers that employer to make a specific decision based on that. So for example, depending on the kind of engagement, let's suppose I'm Ingenuity or I'm ABC Limited, right? And I want to get to that MVP2 stage, and I want to engage a freelancer, an agency. For this specific engagement that I have, the most important thing to me is not cost. The most important thing to me at that specific point might be I need somebody that always deliver their project. on time, but they have a bigger cost. So I'm going to select that agency, right? So what we're looking to do in the next upgrade that we're working on is to actually is to break that rating system down into subcategories so that an employer can essentially rate freelancer agencies based on these subcategories like cost, time to deliver work, customer service, and communication.
All right, thank you very much, Melarka. I had another question based on the question that Robert just asked.
Yeah, man.
He talked about the billing in US dollars. Does the freelancer have the option of collecting their funds in US versus JMD?
We can wire the money.
Okay.
So they can, but then that would be so advantageous to them because by the time the financial institution does that conversion, then they converge at a lower rate. So they'll lose money in their account. So it wouldn't be ideal. The other thing that I want to point out, before you get to the other question, one of the other vision that we have behind this platform is that we need to as Caribbean economies, as Caribbean countries, we need to diversify our economies, right? So predominantly, the main revenue drivers for economy has been remittance, and it has actually been tourism. Now, traditionally, those industries or those verticals have been very, very fickle, right? There's a saying that we use in Jamaica is like, as America sneeze, we catch cold.
Yeah.
Now, if we're going to grow and if we're going to improve our lives, right, we must go to providing higher digital services. If you look at economies that have grown over the last 20 years, we look at India, we look at China, Japan, all of these major economies, right, that have seen, double-digit growth in GDP, mass movement of persons from poor to middle class and to upper class, multi-millionaires actually been created. They all did this through a tech play. They did this through a digital play, right? So, certainly we see this as the platform that's going to assist Caribbean countries in moving higher up in the value chain, and essentially assist our people in moving from whether you're poor to middle class or to moving from middle class to upper class, so that you can actually change your life, and not only change your life, but essentially change the life of your kids and essentially generations to actually come.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Melarka. All right, I see one last question that I'm going to take from Yannick Morgan. So Yannick, I'm going to unmute.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, now, Mr. Williams, I have a question, almost a follow-up from Robert. I came in a little bit late, so I'm not sure if you would have spoken to it already, but as to your claim that you will have the best freelancers suited for each job, is it that in regards to qualifications of the freelancers? I know you have the ID and TRN as know your customer, but is there a certain qualification that you must have in order to actually get onto the HIVE?
No. There's no specific qualification. When you're creating your account, you're going to be allowed to upload your specific portfolio to the platform and to build your reputation. Now, you becoming the best is essentially going to be based on when you work on specific projects and people actually rate you for that project, then the best employers are going to be able to work with you, right? Because you're highly rated. Now, that's crucial, right? Because right now, one of the challenges I saw in the market is that it's not easy for you to very easily decide if a specific freelancer or a specific agency is good. It's kind of like, it's pretty much chaotic. I mean, a lot of it depends on reference or referral. And through a referral, I can say somebody can decide if you're rich or you're poor. So if you're John and you provide some service and somebody calls John, hey John, what do you think about Mary? I'm looking for a market. Oh, good person, right? yes, you get that project, right? And you're able to provide for yourself and your family. But let's look at another situation where somebody calls, hey John, what do you think about Mary? No, very sketchy person. Just like that, you can't provide for yourself and your family. That's one person. No, like in a digital economy, you're not supposed to have that. The problem that this platform is solving is where, your reputation, your digital reputation is not going to be based on one or two person, right? Saying that you're a good or a bad person. It's not going to be based on whether you come from Clarendon or whether you come from Tivoli, whatever address you are. It's going to be based on your reputation that you will day in, day out, through blood, sweat, and tears, and execute on really good projects in the Caribbean and globally, which I think is crucial for us or for every freelancer.
Okay, so basically the site will be open to, if it is that you're qualified with a TVET, a CXC, a PhD, a master's, you're welcome on the site once you can do the job.
You're welcome on the site because, and that was crucial into our thinking and the vision that we have, because you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be on the site, right? All businesses need basic things. If you think about a business has three main departments. It has a finance and administration department, it has a sales and a marketing department, it has an operations department, right? So the finance and administration department or the operations department might just need a data entry clerk or a data entry analyst. They might just need a customer service representative. They might necessarily need an engineer. They might not necessarily need an engineer. So the idea is that for these different skills, the idea is to provide a platform with a wide gamut of skill sets that essentially employers can essentially pick from and engage for different activities. The other point that I want to make is that traditionally, as Caribbean people, we're very creative, right? And we have a lot of ideas and we have a lot of good ideas, right? But sometimes where we fall down on is actually the execution of those ideas. I think that for us to build a multi-billion-dollar company, similar to what we see in the US and other developed markets, you must be able to have an idea, right? And there's a place that you can actually go to have those ideas executed on. And I'll give you an idea. If you're on your spouse, pretty much 8 o'clock in the night, you're talking with your spouse and you guys come up with an idea that's for some tech platform, right? And you don't know anything about technology, right? And you say, I have an idea for a tech platform that's gonna do this, it's probably gonna be the next Facebook. And you say, you know what? How much we can bet on this idea? I can't bet $1 million or $2 million. I think the idea might work or the idea might not work. But I have a $2,500 US. I'm willing to bet that I can afford this. I can afford to lose this $2,500. You can post it on the platform, and you don't have to know nothing about tech. You post it on the platform with that specific budget, and somebody executes it for you. So you take care of the operation piece. Now, the next piece that you need to take care of that you might not necessarily know about is that you need to think about the sales and the marketing component because you need to get that product on the market. You hire a freelancer with a small budget too. Okay, I have $1,000. I want to get this product out here. I want 200 customers. So I think that it's a very, very important piece in driving innovation and transformation in the Caribbean. And the other thing is that, when you look at companies in the US, Canada, and all these developed markets, there's no longer need for these companies to employ persons that are within the US again. Because COVID-19 has taught us a very, very good lesson or bad lesson. That you don't have to have somebody working specifically within your office for them to do any work or for them to actually execute on something. So companies we're going to see like an explosion or disruption in how people work, and companies are going to be employing persons from all over the world to work on things because they know there's no longer any geographic restriction on where you need to engage your talent from.
Yeah, good points, Melarka. And I think it's also instructive for us to note that the international sites like Fiverr, Upwork, and so on, I mean, we don't know that who they have on it in terms of who is doing the different jobs that are being put out there are the best. The long and short of it is that at the end of the day, it's your personal experience with a freelancer that will determine for you what was best. What was best in terms of were they able to deliver whatever the contract required. You know, so I mean, you know, let's just take another question from Robert Smith.
Yeah.
Robert, I'm going to unmute your mic again.
Hey, Mr. Williams, I have one more for you.
Yeah, man, sure, Robert.
And it's a matter of costing. And by that I mean cost to the client who is hiring, but revenue for the freelancer who is lucky enough to, to get a project.
Yeah.
So one of the things I noted in my own research recently, I came across a site and it was an international site for freelancers essentially. But what they did is that they distinguished between two costs. So they had an hourly rate for, it's a company that's based in the US. So just give you some context. So they have an hourly rate for US persons within the US. And then they had another rate for international persons that wanted to join the sites. And that rate was at least about, I'd probably say about 50% less than what a US freelancer would earn. One of the main reasons why people outsource, or one of the main reasons why people use freelancers, is because of the cost factor. You know, you're trying to get pretty much quality work, good work done at a reduced cost. But what I find in that is that there is a disadvantage because international organizations or whoever is hiring clients, internationally or locally, I find that there tends to be an abuse of that situation in terms of how much they're willing to pay a freelancer for that quality work. Yeah. So my question really is, given the focus on building up the freelance community in the Caribbean, bringing work to that freelance community, is there anything in place? Is there any system or procedure in place in terms of the Hive that ensures that whatever project a client is proposing and whatever rate they're proposing, it's financially feasible and Caribbean talent is not being hired at a significantly lower rate than the international standards? If you get my question.
Yeah. Okay. So your question. So you're talking about how you prevent a situation where employers will essentially take advantage of a freelancer agency.
Right. In terms of specifically speaking about the rate aspect of it.
Yeah. All right. So there isn't anything in the Hive that can actually prevent that. It's essentially a marketplace. And we're letting the marketplace actually decide on that and dictate on that. Because they might post a very bad rate or a very low budget for a project and nobody actually responds to that project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there as a part of the data that that you are presenting to organizations and businesses that you're approaching, that clients on the Hive, is there anything in that data that speaks to international, for example, just like international rates around specific category areas? So for example, you have a couple of categories already listed on your sites in terms of data entry, graphic design, etc. Is there anything in your data presentation that you offer to clients that speaks to rates, whether in the Caribbean or internationally or anything like that, so that they have a sense of what the international best standards and practices are within the freelancing community?
Yeah, really good question, Robert. Yeah, so we can essentially provide that data to employers to say, okay, within the Caribbean market, the recommended rate is $14 or $25 per hour for this specific vertical. so they can kind of have some kind of guidance on what the rates are within our specific market.
All right, great. Thank you. Let me see if this is a comment. Rona May is saying, you have to start somewhere and build your dreams, continue pushing and growing. It's good to see a business of this nature in the Caribbean. Keep at it. Upwork and Fiverr are existing in the same space. This global pandemic has changed how we work, so I'm looking forward to how the Hive will impact this space. There was another comment that I wanted to read for you. Okay, Nicole Duncan, she said, great to see an online freelancing website, an online freelancing site originating out of the Caribbean. Anita, does the freelancer need to have a registered business to be on the Hive? That one is for you, Melarka. Does it have to be a registered business?
No, it can be, no, they don't have to. It can just be an independent contractor, just an independent freelancer that wants to bid on projects.
Right. All right, great. Thank you so much again, Melarka, for joining us this morning. Thank you for a very informative session. Thank you for sharing this information with us. It is very important, especially at a time like this. I urge everyone who can to check out TheHive freelancing.co and see if anything there would be of interest to you. I mean, it's not going to cost you anything, and initially at the outset, remember you have up to 15 opportunities to apply for projects. As I said before, the session will be available on our YouTube page maybe about tomorrow evening. So if you missed the first part of it, or if you know someone who wanted to be in the presentation but was not able to do so, you can direct them to the JBDC Jamaica page on YouTube. Join us again at 1 o'clock. We're going to be doing another session on my DNA design, and we look forward to having you. If you've registered for that session, we still have a little bit of time. We're going to be closing registration for that at midday. But again, thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
No, all right. Thank you guys, all right?
Take care, Melarka.
Take care, bye.